Good afternoon, Belize. It's midday and you're tuned into the news at noon, where we bring you the latest updates from around the country. I'm Isana Cayetano and here's what's making headlines today. Belize's BPO boom faces new challenge from U.S. legislation. 90 students awarded Social Security scholarships. Belize completes Code Caribbean program to boost tech education and job readiness. And Senate President joins Regional Climate Summit ahead of COP30. These stories are coming up in just 1 minute.
In the face of tragedy, you depend on accurate and timely information. In times of triumph, you seek to be inspired. You demand transparency and accountability. Your desire is to know and to understand, to be heard and seen. I take pride in telling stories that safeguard communities. Your dedication and success live on through these reports. Getting to the truth is my duty. My unwavering commitment is to tell the stories that matter the most to you. I am News 5.
Welcome back. A new bill making its way through the U.S. Senate could spell trouble for Belize's thriving BPO sector. It's called the Keep Call Centers in America Act of 2025, and if passed, it could make it harder and costlier for U.S. companies to outsource call center jobs overseas. The bipartisan bill, introduced by Senators Ruben Gallego and Jim Justice, is designed to keep more customer service jobs on American soil. It would require companies to give U.S. Department of Labor a heads-up 120 days in advance before shifting operations abroad. And that's just the start. Businesses that do outsource could end up on a public list and lose access to federal grants and loans. Plus, any call center work tied to U.S. government contracts would have to be done in the States, and agents would need to disclose their location and whether they're using AI. That's a big deal for Belize, where the BPO industry has become a major economic driver. With over 16,000 people employed and estimated $150 million in annual salaries, the sector has been booming, thanks to Belize's English-speaking workforce, cost-effective services, and cultural alignment with North America. But now, industry insiders are warning that the proposed legislation could slow things down. If U.S. companies start pulling back to avoid penalties, Belize could see fewer jobs and less investment in the sector. Still, there's room for optimism. Experts say this could be a turning point for Belize to diversify its client base beyond the United States, explore new service areas, and invest even more in workforce training to stay competitive in a changing global market. Today marks a proud and inspiring moment for 90 bright young minds from across Belize. These students are officially the newest recipients of the Social Security Scholarship Award, a program that's been changing lives since way back in 2001. That's over 1,000 Belizeans who've had their academic dreams fueled by this initiative. Now, out of the 90 recipients this year, 52 are heading into sixth form, a major step toward financial independence and future success. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want a little help with those tuition fees? We spoke with Vanessa Veos, Communications Manager at the Social Security Board, who emphasized that this scholarship goes beyond financial support. It's about creating opportunities, shaping futures, and nurturing Belize's emerging leaders.
This year we're giving out 32 high school scholarships, 52 associate degree level scholarships, and 6 VOTEC scholarships.
Can you walk us through what the selection process has been like? I imagine that you received a lot. Yes. Have you gotten the chance to meet any of the recipients prior to them being selected?
Okay, well, the process for this year, in terms of how we go about doing it, we got over 200 scholarship applications, and the vetting process is based on your financial need, your ability to demonstrate that you have academic potential, not just in the grade to qualify in the first instance, but also showing us that you can continue a program, not just start a program but continue the program. So that would be the criteria, and of course you have to be a born Belizean, right? In this process for this year, I personally did not get a chance to discuss or talk to any of the scholarship, prospective scholarship persons who applied, but it was very vast in terms of all walks of life. You know, today, so far, you've seen that there was a police officer who the crowd cheered on, who is actually going back to school. I mean, that is awesome, right? So it just shows you the depth that, you know, anyone who fills that criteria, right, with the B+ average and demonstrating the financial need can be eligible for the Social Security Board scholarship.
Belize is among 7 Caribbean countries to take part in the regional Code Caribbean initiative. At the heart of this pilot program was the training of teachers in computer science and introducing them to technology early on, while also building their skills in emotional intelligence and entrepreneurship. Code Caribbean is also working to strengthen the connection between the Ministry of Education and the private sector to ensure that what's being taught in classrooms lines up with real job opportunities, especially for students from underserved communities. A closing ceremony was held in Belmopan on Thursday for the cohort of participants.
It is with heartfelt gratitude and immense pride that I address you today on behalf of the government and people of Belize as we mark the conclusion of the 3-year Code Caribbean project, a remarkable journey that not has only introduced coding to our classrooms, but ignited a broader movement to empower students and teachers through STEAM. Belize's participation in this regional initiative has been anchored in our belief that innovation, creativity, and technology are essential to national development. Over the past 3 years, we have seen classrooms transform, students engage in new and exciting ways, and teachers stepping into the future with confidence and skill.
The President of the Senate, Caroline Trent Sandiford, has just returned from Brazil, where she represented Belize at the 2nd Parliamentary Summit on Climate Change and Just Transition, a major regional event held at the National Congress of Brasilia. Over 2 days, lawmakers from across Latin America and the Caribbean gathered to strengthen ties and align their legislative strategies ahead of COP30, the United Nations Climate Conference, set for November in Belém, Brazil. The summit, organized by the Parliamentary Observatory on Climate Change and Just Transition, is backed by the UN's Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean and the Open Societies Foundation. It was co-hosted by Brazil's Chamber of Deputies and Federal Senate with support from several climate policy partners. One of the key outcomes of the summit will be a letter of support for Brazil's COP30 presidency, along with a joint declaration reaffirming the region's commitment to climate action, both of which will be formally presented at COP30. Trent Sandiford's presence at the summit highlights Belize's ongoing leadership in climate policy and its dedication to building a sustainable future through legislative collaboration and a just transition. That's a wrap for the news at noon. But don't worry, there's plenty more coming your way at 6 p.m. We'll dive deeper into these stories and more. In the meantime, visit greaterbelize.com and follow us on Facebook for real-time updates. And don't miss Open Your Eyes on Monday morning for fresh takes on today's headlines. Thanks for tuning in, Belize. Stay informed, stay inspired, and have a fantastic afternoon.